Europe are already favourites after having head-to-head 5-1 in the first session. This is how the afternoon session on day 2 pans out, a mixture of singles and doubles matches. Plenty to look forward to. The first match of the day is Palermaa, former European team captain, up against Malott, who won the USA's only point last night. Over to your commentators then, Cass Edwards and Simon Golding.
Thanks, Tony. The best start ever for Europe, and an intriguing afternoon session lays ahead for Weber Cup 16. In particular, a few must-win games for the USA. But Cass Edwards, they do have, I guess, a slight advantage in that they get rid of yesterday's oil pattern and they pick their own.
Yes, Simon, you're quite right. And as Guy Kaminsky mentioned, Tommy Jones, the American captain, has picked the shorter oil pattern. The oil goes down the lane only 37 feet compared to 40 feet of session 1. So there'll be a lot more back end, so a lot more hooking as the ball gets down towards the pins, and we can see some big shots from these big guys.
Oh, straight in the gutter. Well, Tony Wrighton, you called it right. Goodness me. And that has taken this Barnsley crowd completely by shock. Malott with a gutter ball.
Well, nothing lost if you can spare it by shooting a strike. Yeah, when you're playing that outside line, you have such a fine margin. It's not going to worry him too much. He's kind of testing the water there. Didn't get it perfectly right, but another ½ inch to the left and that may well have hit the pocket. So he's just going to try and get this one right. Hit the pocket for a strike, which will count as a spare.
Mighty close again to that gutter, but you've seen the sort of line that he has to take to give it enough room in the dry part of the lane to get back into the pocket safely. And the big nasty, a lot of people saying he's got to get a win on the board for Team USA at the start of this session to just set the tone. And if he doesn't, Team Europe in with a real chance of running away to a massive lead. Now this man, Palermaa, a lot of responsibility placed on his shoulders, but I have to say, the former captain of Team Europe looked very good yesterday. Too narrow, and he's a lucky boy. In the warm-up balls that he threw, he did leave a couple of splits, very much like the one that nearly happened there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he may be bowling a urethane ball here, different ball surface, to cut the hook down, and we don't know how much hook he does get off the high rotation shots, and trips the 4-pin from behind and opens up with a strike. So pressure straight away back on the big nasty. There's Malott, and what a dangerous line he's playing as well. He's got to get it out to the right to the outside boards. He's there again. And that's another good-looking shot. A spare and a strike. So he's kind of lined up, but he has to watch that channel.
Well, at least he's covered the gutter ball. Beautiful stuff from Malott. He's been the talisman, really, for this US team. The only man to record a point in yesterday's evening session for USA. Now you can see how far across Palermaa is starting. And then the two-hander gets so many revs to bring it back, but he is having to use a ball with less reaction, and that's the danger for him. If he gets to that pocket heavy, he can leave pin standing in the middle.
Very much a straighter line compared to Malott, and yes, it's harder surface ball, so it won't hook so much. So it's a tactic he's developing. That's the ball that's going to hook. Look at that, crikey. And it's just the way he's playing the shorter oil pattern, 37 feet from foul line to the oil where it tapers off, which leaves 23 feet of back end from that oil line to the head pin. So there's plenty of room to hook.
Malott can forget all about that opening ball. This second session of Weber Cup 16. And just concentrate on stringing the strikes together, and there are the stats for the Sabre oil pattern. A shorter pattern for Team USA, exactly what we thought they were going to go to. Oh, and he's left the same pin as Palermaa.
Yeah, just a fraction high on the headpin, leaves the 4-pin standing. The 3.6 to 1 ratio on that oil pattern is that in the centre of the lane there's 3 times as much oil as there is on the outside, and I mean the outside right and the outside left. Tapers from the middle of the lane, both sides to the gutter. Not as heavy as yesterday, and it will allow for more hooking. So these guys are probably going to have to up their speed a little bit to try and hold pocket.
Not as deep inside as I was expecting to see Wes Malott go on this pattern, and Palermaa in the same way as well, just staying a little bit more to the right. I thought both guys would go quite deep to the left and then just coast to coast on this lane.
Simon, I understand exactly what you're saying. This is a freshly dressed lane. Now, it may well be by the time game 3 comes up this afternoon that you will find the guys are way left on the approach and going coast to coast, as you say.
Basically crossing every single board. Now look how far out to the right Palermaa is. He does straighten up into the middle, but this is quite a straight delivery. It's all about how he gets back to the pocket, and he's not getting back there as well as he would like.
Well, as I say, he's using a harder surface ball to cut the hook down. He is getting certainly some movement into the pocket, just needs a bit more drive. And this, believe it or not, is his strike ball from yesterday, so he's using his strike ball to take spares.
He's turned it all on its head. His spare ball for the strike, and then this one, the big reacting ball, to keep hooking out those troublesome single pins, but nothing in it at the moment. Maximum scores if they strike off from here. 270 to Malott, 269 to the man in blue from Finland, the former European captain Oskar Palermaa. Incredible atmosphere in the Barnsley Metrodome this afternoon. We've got all sorts in the crowd. It is a fantastic and colourful scene, and it's been pretty loud as well. Malott. No, cuts up straight across the headpin, and that's the problem with that much back end. So much time for the ball to really hook.
Didn't quite get the width to the outside boards, and as we saw, it cut up early. It almost crossed to the left-hand side of the head in the Brooklyn side. Right on the head. Unfortunately, breaks a few pins up. Here's the 6 and the 10, which unfortunately he's used a spare ball and it's dropped in the channel, which is an absolute major error, and I really can't understand what that's all about. The radar really needed to be redirected, and look at this. It's just aquaplaned away to the right. Just unbelievable.
You just see that little line on the ball on the slow-mos. That's the oil. And there's some of the crowd in. The Team Europe superheroes ready to cheer their boys on, and this man can be a superhero right here. Palermaa has been handed an opportunity, but he's got to jump over it, and he's got to do that by, first of all, striking, but ideally putting a double and maybe a turkey together. If he can get 3 strikes in a row from here, Malott's going to have a real problem. It's a better line. Oh, it nearly left the 10, but the 10 tumbles. And for the second time in this 7th match of World Cup 16, Palermaa gets a little bit of luck with the messenger.
Well, you make your own luck, and this is pretty lucky. Fraction light in the head pin, 6 pins laid in the gutter, and look, it's just clipped the 10 pin and gone away. You make your own luck, and Oskar is playing a totally different game to Wes Malott, and it's certainly paying off at the moment.
A little love tap from the 6 pin on the 10, and down it goes. Oh dear, just someone not happy in the audience, I'm afraid, and Wes, who has 3 children of his own, will be very understanding of that situation. So
yeah, just a young child being taken out by dad. Gets a round of applause. Well done. Wes Malott will regroup. He'll forget about that. He's got much more things on his mind. Oskar trying to stay cool with one of his fans.
He's got the fan out again. The Japanese fan. Little memory of the big win in Tokyo recently. Straight through the head pin from Malott again. Oh dear, this is a real problem here for the big nasty and for Team USA.
The one match they really don't need to lose is the opening game of this 2nd session, and his head is down. He just hasn't got the width. That ball is hooking up much too much. High through the head pin for the 2nd time. This time he can take the single 6 pin away, but he was scratching his head and he's looking rather disconsolate. He's going to do something desperate because Oskar realises that Wes is suffering. He's going to turn the screw now and hopefully make a double. But Oskar is playing a really, really clever game here with the selection of the ball he's got and the line he's playing. Absolutely ideal for the shorter oil pattern. And just going back, Simon, to the big win he had in Japan, it was a pre-Olympic type exhibition tournament, which he won and picked up 100 million yen, if anybody wants to try and work out what that is. And a great strike, and it's 2 in a row from the man from Gothenburg.
Yeah, the 31-year-old Finn, originally from Espoo in Finland, but now based in Gothenburg at the same bowling centre, incidentally, as Martin Larsson, his Team Europe colleague. And doing a fantastic job. That's his most convincing strike of the 3 that he's made, but more importantly, it's a double. And that stomps all over Malott's open frame in the 4th and spare in the 5th. Malott once again for Team USA. Dear me, Cass, he cannot find the room out on the right side of this lane, and it's killing him.
Doesn't look as though it could buy a strike. It is all to do with the width. You saw in the first frame that he actually got out there and it dropped in the channel, and that was too far. He's now overcompensating, and he's not getting the distance because he's scared to get right out to the channel, and he's cutting back, as we can see. Okay, makes a spare, but that spares are not what he needs.
You can't get away from it. That first channel ball has affected him.
You kind of like to suggest that maybe he tries a less aggressive bowling ball, if he has one. Perhaps straightens the shot up, but he's playing his natural game. He loves that outside line and gets so much reaction. Unfortunately, Oscar's got his number just at the moment.
Palermaa then to bowl the ball that sets up a potential win here in Game 7 of Weber Cup 16 for the Finn. And look how hard he's throwing that now. He's found his line, he's comfortable, and he is putting some serious speed on that ball to get it to the pocket.
Another fantastic looking shot. See how straight it is, and it just turns up beautifully at the end. That's a curve rather than a natural hook. And he's really feeling very clever with himself.
Cleans it up for a potential maximum still of 269 then. Oscar Palermaa. It's looking good for Team Europe. Now, where's Malott? Has to do something. Takes it out wide again and gets back. So, on that occasion, from the Big Nasty's point of view, fortune very much favouring the Brave.
Just totally increased his speed. Managed to get it to the outside of the lane, but gave it so much more momentum, and it got it down the lane and got it through that break area. Held pocket in the drive back end, carried all 10. Much better shot, but he's got to stay with it now. Almost off the sheet, and he'll only have 224, which incidentally is the average he's been having all of the 2015 season in the USA. Over 150 games on a 224 average.
Palermaa working 3 strikes. 4-bagger, and doesn't look like leaving that line anytime soon.
Isn't it amazing though? I actually thought he was a little bit left as he delivered that ball on the lane. It looked a bit near the middle, but it held pocket with the oil. Just turned up nicely. Really playing an absolute optimum line at the moment.
He's throwing the ball very hard. There's Palermaa, and it's working for him. Stuck with the plan. Malott goes back wide, and that one got caught up on the outside.
Simon, this game is over.
It is.
Unfortunately, Wes has left the 2-8-10. It's the ball that's coming back, but it's not come back enough. It's touched the headpin just. Breaks nothing up, leaves the 2 and the 8 sleeper, and the 10 pin in the corner, and 100 to 1 shot. Just the 2, unfortunately.
And that hurts. That really hurts. A disconsolate Wes Malott trudges back to his chair. And this second session of Weber Cup 16 is not going to get off to a good start for Team USA. Palermaa keep it on the lane, keep it clean through the frames, and it will be a point to Team Europe to make it 6-1.
Yeah, Simon, you're quite right. Don't do anything silly. Don't do anything too flash. Just keep it in the pocket. Spare your way to victory if you can. Or keep striking as he's done there for now. 5 strikes in a row for Oscar Palermaa.
Very worryingly for Team USA, Palermaa, who's had a couple of years away from the Weber Cup after being posed as captain by Mika Koivuniemi, has come back in here with real fire in his belly. This is superb bowling from the two-hander. And he looks like he could be the key for Team Europe.
Sorry, Simon. Yeah, it's a great decision by Oscar to use the urethane ball. Harder surface, less friction. Where's his now? Well, and there's another 210. This is all over. He's just experimenting now. It's a shame to see.
Yeah, look to the future. The US fans and US team will be saying still a long way to go. They were okay yesterday. They were a little bit down at the end of the session, but certainly the likes of Parker Bowen talking about the fact that other teams have been this far down in the past and come back and won it. Europe certainly know what 5-1 down's like, and getting a victory out of it.
Well, yeah, last year in the last session they came back and won 7 of the last 9 events. Team USA are going to have to do something like that very soon. And as you say, I was talking to Parker at breakfast this morning in the hotel, and he said, hey, it's one session, there's 4 to go.
So Palermaa doing his job for Captain Don Barrett and for the rest of the team. They've talked long and hard about this oil pattern and about how they're going to counter it. After a slightly shaky start, Oscar Palermaa has more than countered it. He's ripped it up.
He's just playing for fun at the moment. This is a very similar sort of line to the European side played last year in the last session, when they all had urethane bowling balls and took advantage of the short oil. But Tommy Jones has picked this pattern for the USA boys, and it hasn't worked out to start with.
You're right. Strike a lot, Malott can't buy a strike, and this is a horrible score for him to take away.
Yeah, this is going to be the lowest game of the lowest score of the whole tournament so far. But you know, the game's lost, so it doesn't really matter that much. But he needs to get himself lined up, because he's up next with Parker Bowen in the doubles match. Spare ends in a bonus ball in the 10th.
Yeah, good point, Cass. This is the man they're going to try and keep on the lane into the doubles with Parker. But under real pressure coming into that one. Oscar Palermaa similarly for Europe will stay out on the lane. He'll be joined by Stu Williams. I think they'll enjoy this pattern. It's then cutting around a dejected figure and still can't winkle out that 10-pin, and that is going to be playing on his mind coming into the doubles. So he finishes on a score of 160. He won't have shot that for a long time, I can tell you. Palermaa will step up to do the job.
I was going to say a more sympathetic round of applause for a 160 game from Wes Malott. But he'll put it behind him and he will regroup, as all these professional players do. Oscar will be coasting now.
Ball change, doesn't matter. Work to treat. And as this lane pattern breaks down, we might see that ball come out for the start of the doubles match, which is game 8 of Weber Cup 16. Oscar Palermaa and Stu Williams taking on Wes Malott and Parker Bowen the third. And with this point, Cass, it means that even if Europe have an absolute shocker from here, USA can't do better than get level at the end of the session.
Yeah, you're quite right, Simon. And well spotted with the ball change. Oscar's using his more aggressive strike ball here just to see how it's going to play. Seems to be playing not too badly. He'll have to up his speed a bit, maybe move a bit left on the approach, but good thing to try and do just to see how it's going to work.
Single hand spare. Stroll in the park. And a bit of a trick shot to boot. Can't quite get it back, so leaves an open frame, but the job was done a long time ago. Oscar Palermaa stepping up to the mark. I think he's shown a phenomenal amount of focus coming back into this Weber Cup team. And in some style, he takes this one home. 257 beats 160. It is another point on the board for Team Europe. They lead 6-1, but there's still plenty to come in this afternoon session. More action after the break.